So my question is, should you date in reverse in terms of how much you spend? Because to me, what it sounds like, initially, guys are spending a bunch of money up front and then finding out later on, maybe this isn't the person, right? So would it make more sense to start low in the beginning? And if we're interested in each other, then the next date we go on, then I may spend a little more. And if I'm still interested at that point, then I would go to what the reverse date would have been and pull out all stops. And the reason I say that is because if you get to the first date and you can kind of check to see the girl's disposition about what we doing this or whatever, that's a red flag for you right there to say, you know what, there's not going to be any second date and there's no harm, no foul, because you didn't spend a whole lot of money pulling out all of the stops on the first date. But if you get past that first date, then you can do something a little better, have more conversation, and she's able to see like, oh, okay, this is not, you know what I'm saying? So I think maybe guys maybe need to start on the lower end of the date. And I don't know what your budget would be based on your finances, but
men on budgets, Enos, before you answer.
Right. Starting on the lower end of
budgets.
The lower end of your budget, like you said, Shan, like maybe doing the coffee date or, you know, something like that, starting that off where you can get to know each other more in person, see how the vibe is. And then that next date, you might, you know, if there would be a next date based on that first experience, then step it up the next time.
Did you know that's exactly what you just got done saying? Did you know, you guys know that when I told you that we did this with these 100 so-called modern women, did you know that what I just got done saying to you guys, a lot of my other colleagues, we almost all had the same similar story. Like we were going through med school, our wives were at home. They were working. No, they weren't working. We were working, but they were taking care of the kids. That's what I'm saying, working around the house, taking care of the home and all that. And what's funny is that when we describe how we are with our wives and how we were with them before we became this so-called high value successful man, do you know that those women all said, but there ain't no men out there that's like y'all like that. So they do all of a sudden, when we just got done breaking down how we are towards our wives and how we were when we were dating and vetting and all that, these women, these modern women that were there, they all are saying like we can't find, those men are out there because we told y'all, because y'all are being pushed to go and look for nothing but dollars and signs, not the actual relationship. And now we want to do it again because we didn't know it was going to hit it off like this. They want to come back now. How do we find those guys that you're talking about? Now, all of a sudden, that money and stuff went out the window because they want the relationship. But somebody has tricked them into thinking that their socioeconomic level is going to be equivalent to what a relationship is going to be, and it's not.
And I can say too, and I've said this before, even when I met my husband, I met him in college. You know, at that point, but everybody broke anyway, right? So, but I had spoke along the lines of him never paying anything for me during the time that we were just where there was no label on what we were doing. And I noticed the increase in the way that he spent his money on me once the label was official. So when we were just, you know, I just say hooking up or whatever, he enjoyed my company or whatever you want to call it. I was actually the one that was like, here's my meal card or what have you. But then as our relationship progressed, that aspect of it reversed. And like you said, it was more intentional about him wanting to take care of me. And I think that's the thing. I think sometimes the way that we move as women, we're looking for the man to take care of us up front without necessarily doing some of the footwork that should come along with that, so that man will feel like this is the one that I want to take care of.
Right, because you're not mine yet. You're not mine yet. So they like to have this thing out there like, you guys want to treat us like we're just some little delicate flower, blah, 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 blah. No, it's nothing to do with that. It's just that because how beautiful you are, I know how delicate you are to me. So I want to make sure that you're properly watered. I want to make sure that you're protected from the sun rays. I want to make sure that you get the proper nutrients. That's why. And that's why I feel like that towards you. Not that you said some weakling little thing that can't do anything, but because of how you are, that's what it makes me want to do to you, you know?
So I have a question, and this has nothing to do with anybody on the panel because I think that we don't think this way. But do you think that a lot of this comes from the fact that, like the videos we saw earlier, okay, because a lot of people are not dating with intent these days, and it's hard to figure out who's dating with intent and who's not dating with intent. So everybody's trying to one up the other ones. Like, okay, so if I like him, he manipulates me. At least I didn't come out so bad because maybe he invested in me a little bit. Like, it makes you feel a little less like you got played at your body.
That sounds like
he took me to Applebee's and I gave him some, or McDonald's.
that sounds like prostitution. I ain't gonna lie.
Well,
Too much.
No, it's not. I don't think that's prostitution, though. I think prostitution is you go to a prostitute and she's a whore and she exchanged money for, I think what I'm saying is you don't feel bad about being played, meaning he came with he told you, or you thought it was something different than it really was, and you just got played in the end. That's two different things.
So here's I've learned to despise the whole label of dating with intention, because I think the wording has an unfortunate play. Everybody dates with an intention. The intention,
what I mean.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, right? We put dating with an intention, meaning that the intention is to be married. Some people are dating to get the box. Some people are dating to fill their time, right? So everybody has an intention. It's just whether or not the intention lines up. So I'm hoping
dating for the free meal.
Yes, some women are, right?
I'm with intent. I'm saying you specify what your intent is. For example, if I say I'm dating because I want to be married, like I want to, then that's what I mean by I just don't want to spell it all out. But go ahead.
No, that wasn't a shot at you or anything like that, right? There's so many people who have that conversation, and it just irks me because it feels like people who are intentionally seeking out the things that they're looking for, that they're not dating with intent because their intentions don't align with yours, right? So that was not directed at you in any shape, way, or form. But to what you were saying, there's people who are so fearful of men and women, so fearful of not getting what they want that they think that they can people please their way into it. So men do it with the finances, women do it with femininity, and all of a sudden 3 months, 6 months, a year down the line, all of a sudden these two people are meshing up, right? And I think that's really maybe not so dating with intent. I would love for people to say dating fearlessly, if those fears are not becoming barriers to the way that you interact with people, and that you're able to be a little bit more authentic in your interactions. I think that would change the game.
What you just got done saying is, I agree, because I say this a lot, and it's not that I'm being cocky or confident. I say, man, some of these panels that I've gone on, I'm like, guys, I promise y'all, I would have no problem getting any woman I wanted right now, because y'all coming already in with preconceived. I don't know if I'm gonna pay. She gonna pay. What if she did? I don't even care. I'm looking at that woman saying, that's the type of woman I'm vibing right there. Hey, give me for a second. What's your name? Oh, my name is such and such. You are a beautiful woman, and you already know that. I'm pretty sure you've been told that, but I would really like to take you out sometime, just kind of get to know you, because da. So you can just go up to any woman and talk to him like that, man. That's crazy. Y'all, that's weird to me that they're even saying that. So when I get this question from them 100 people that were there, one thing that came down to it that we found out is that if a man is moving how a man should be in his own masculinity, and I know y'all I hate to say that because it sounds like it's a talking point, but what I always say is this: there is this attraction. You guys were built a certain type of way. We were built a certain type of way. If we are moving like we're supposed to be moving, you guys are moving like you're supposed to be moving. It's almost like a magnet. You don't even have to work hard. It's just that when you get there, it attracts. But if you got a masculine man and a masculine woman, and both, it's like the magnet. You try to put in, and no matter what you do, they won't connect. If you got a feminine acting man, feminine temperament man, and you got a feminine woman, and it's the same exact thing, they won't. But when you are moving like you're supposed to, you don't even have to try to make that connection, because it just comes right off, but today's world, because of what you
moving like they're supposed. That's what you're.
See, and remember I said that's what what you just got done saying. That's what those 100 women are saying. But where are those men that the men are not? That's what I'm saying. So now dollars and signs go out the window. Now we talking about.
The question is, as a woman, are you moving like that to attract those men? Because I think a lot of times as women, we see things from our viewpoint, our perspective, because we know what we want and we're looking for, right? So it's like, the men ain't doing X, Y, and Z. They're not. But the truth of the matter is that we get on the men and say, we know that there's good women out there. What are you doing? How are you moving to keep attracting these women that you don't like? So I think in that same regard, as women, we're probably moving a certain way that's attracting the men that we don't necessarily want.
Exactly.
But let me just say this. Let me add to this. But then, if that were the case, then wouldn't the marriage rates be higher than they are? Men are not lacking relationships. Most men have been in relationships with probably a good woman for a decent amount of time, but he did not ask her to marry him
because we talked about that before. Why buy the cow when you're getting the milk for free? That's part of the other issue. I know the men on these panels before have said the thing is that if we're getting all of our needs met, it's not necessarily that's going to push us over to the marriage aspect, right? So I think there has to be a fine balance. You show what you have to offer as a wife, but not necessarily give it all until you become the wife. And I know people disagree with me on that, saying, oh, no, if you do that, then you won't get wifed up because a man is already looking for a wife. But my thing is moving, I guess, like Inaz said, I'm still trying to learn this moving in your femininity talk because I don't know what that, but, I just am my authentic self, whatever that is. And that attracted my husband, you know what I'm saying? So, but I just think that if you are moving in your authentic self and being who you are, that man will be able to see if you're the right wife for him, right? And so I think a lot of times we put on these false pretenses of who we are and what we could be, and that not be our authentic selves. And we're showcasing so we can get chosen, and then end up being a disappointment on both sides, end up being a disappointment. So I think like when women are saying, I can't, find a man, it may be the way that you're moving. You need to start looking at how you're moving and how the type of man that you want, what things would he be looking for in a wife, and then make those adjustments to become who, make that a part of your natural state of who you are, making some changes or what have you, because I really think that there is that law of attraction is real. And I think sometimes what happens is it's easier to point the finger at the opposite person instead of kind of looking at yourself